July edition of Cops, Clippers, and Conversation. It's an open dialogue inside of a barbershop. I and the rest of the colleagues understand that the pillar of the community, such as churches, community centers, schools, we understand the barbershop is one of the information that comes out. What's up, Steve? Hey, man. So, and with that being said, so this is open dialogue. It's something in the community that we try to get out and we try to talk about. And sometimes as police officers, we kind of, we come to the barbershop too. We kind of moms that don't say a lot of things, but this is an opportunity where we get a chance to talk. This is an opportunity where we get a chance to get some information out.
Hey, I'm just trying to help.
This is an open dialogue conversation. You know, all we ask is that we respect everybody's comments. Let them comment, let them have it. That's theirs. We're gonna respect everybody's comments. We can't talk about a lot of things that's under investigation because again, it's under investigation. You can't really give really curtail about it. So with that being said, like I said, I'm Clarence Campbell. That's I'm an officer with the Police Department Community Outreach. You guys, Sergeant Birch. He's with felony assault. So Felix Charles Jr., Jimmy Johnson. He's the Avalon Farms Bravo. You got Marcus Taylor Farms, really what I call my team. Really, that we dialogue and we feel this conversation. And so, and people come in and introduce themselves, and we're gonna turn it over to Sergeant Brownlee. He's gonna be our moderator, and with there being a moderator, we're gonna try to keep the conversation. Like I said, this is really a power hour, 2 hours. It can go for 2 hours because barbershop conversation can go a long way. So this is a part where he's gonna try to help with the timing of these things, and we're gonna discuss a lot of things that are going on in our community. And it, like I said, it's an open conversation, but we do have some conversations we like to talk about. There's sometimes on the police department side that we do need help, and so here's where we, use those barbers and spit some words to these guys' ear out in the streets where we can get the help that we need as far as curtailing some issues that we do have. So at this time, we turn over to Officer Sergeant Brownlee.
All right. So I'm Sergeant Brownlee here just to be sure that, everybody respects everybody. We got the conversation properly. And we have a few topics that we're going to hit on today. Like Officer Campbell said, let's respect everybody's opinion. We can't talk about things that are currently under investigation. And ultimately, we want to find solutions. So if you have a situation that you're concerned about, that you're thinking about, this is a chance. We sitting out, just shooting it, and we're just trying to find common ground. So our topics for today, there'll be traffic stops and how to handle misconduct. Then we'll go into the permitless carry. Then we'll go to street racing and crashes, and then we'll talk about the 901 RAP, the 901 Witness Relocation Assistance Program. So let's get started with the police interaction, traffic stops, and how to handle misconduct. Campbell, you want to start off with it?
Well, like I said, everybody want to talk about it. Like I said, in this room is filled with a lot of knowledge. The people that you get put over by, such as myself, Officer Haley here, but now you got the people that they respond to. You got the colonels, the lieutenant colonels, you got the lieutenants. Understand that it's bigger than just the people that you come in contact with. If it's a situation, we don't try to have court on the side of the road, whether you like the ticket or you don't like the ticket. This is a part where, again, this is where we get that understanding about those traffic stops, about if it's some dialogue that you don't like. And so this is where these guys come in and ask me, again, what's their role in this? So
I'll take the floor.
Go ahead.
And yourself.
I think positionally from where we're from in the hood is fear. We fear police officers. Just be honest with you. It's not that your day going bad or nothing like that. You get pulled over and you hoping this ain't the day you get harassed or the day you get penalized for a situation that has nothing to do with you. Like you said, so why you pulled me over in the first place? And they might say, all right, you drive out tags. You got a drive out tag when you come. If you ain't got your bill of sale, don't play victim when you playing crummy. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that a lot of people from the hood has associated fear. It's just certain people for how you dress, how you look, and they pull you over, they search your car, they find your weed, why you tell them you had it in person? You dig what I'm saying? I'm not saying that innocent people. I'm just saying sometimes dealing with other police officers, paradigm prison, we deal with associated fear. Like when I get pulled over, the first thing I do is stick my hands out my car. Hell, I ain't trying to get shot. I don't want to be harassed. If a police officer say, "Can I search your vehicle?" Yeah, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? I'll take whatever comes with citation, ticket, jail, whatever the case may be. I just want to be peaceful. You feel what I'm saying? You come with a sense of associated fear because some of us don't have a knowledgeable or understanding way of what's supposed to happen with the vehicle. Like if you don't know, you got no bill of sales, no receipt for your car. Those would be some of the things that we would like to hear before we hear what's in the car. Well, I smell it. Okay, cool. We already there, but at the same time, we still human beings. You know what I'm saying? So because I got a little weed on me or I ain't got no driver's license, I'm trying to survive. Like, I'm going to work at these warehouses and all these different places. I'm trying to get through the day. And at the end of the day, my fear is them blue lights coming on behind you for some absurd reason. Even if you look like a victim or you resemble somebody that they're looking for, all this cool if it's handled peaceful. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes it don't get peaceful. I ain't gonna sit here and lie to you like I ain't been jacked up by a police officer or I ain't been held roughly for no apparent reason. It's just because of my appearance. I'd have been, even with this one leg, I'd have been crammed in the back of a police car for a routine traffic stop. That doesn't make sense to me. And this is what I'm saying. I'm just speaking on what happened to me. Then at the end of the day, they trashed my vehicle, looked through my car, searching for whatever they were searching for, and didn't find it. I would have been like an apology. I would have been like, my bad, bro. I ain't mean to rough you up like that. We ain't mean to make you get in the car. You see, I got one leg, man. What you supposed to be 6'5" in the back of a police car on a routine traffic stop? That's excessive. But you can't cry about it because sometimes it gets worse. You know what I'm saying? When you speak your peace and you speak your freedom to a police officer, you feel like you can't talk to them like they're regular people because they don't act like regular people. They act like they're alone.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Like I said, again, I can't sugarcoat it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But these guys, they're young, they're on this job. And sometimes they come out of roll call, you got to be that tough dude out there on the street. Mm-hmm. You can't show weakness on these streets because the streets will eat you up. Agreed. So, with that being said, again, it's at a point where, the duties are the duties of the job, but at some point when those duties infringe or you get to be fearful or something like that, it's one piece of work, especially with body cameras on. Excuse me, officer, you stop and supervise here.
It's not information.
It's the camera real, man.
Right.
Now we went from a police department with a whole bunch of complaints. Everybody going down to IAB. Everybody goes to the precinct and call a complaint. But then all of a sudden, they got their camera on. It's showtime. It's showtime with the cameras on because now it's like, I really got to shoot you right.
Right.
And so now with that being said, these are tools that you can use. Again, whether I got weed in my car, if you pull me off a speed ticket, if it's a ticket, it's a ticket. You might take something else. Like I said, if I got something to talk about, we ain't got to talk about it. And, where you going? Okay, it's a ticket.
Mr. Campbell, every officer doesn't give a civilian that type of respect. Nope. That's all I'm saying. I understand police officers have a job, right?
Since we on that topic, since we went there, last few times we have had this type of person available. We got one right here. Let's let him jump in and comment on what this gentleman just said. Since he's out there in this squad car, he's out there he's doing that action. Let him come in.
I'm also Haley with Moriah Station Charlie shift. And to just jump on your what you're saying is when we do pull over a car and we get cars that run from us all the time. But it's about how when we approach the car, they say, let me see a license registration. First thing they do, what the F I do? So they come at us wrong. And then they want to understand, I ain't got to show you my license, but can you step out the car for me? And then they go from there. All that because you got license on you, you valid with license. All you got to do is comply with us. But 9 times out of 10, they might have their girl in the car. They might have 3 other guys in the car. So they got to put on a show for them. So they won't seem like a weakling when the police get behind them. Rather than just complying, thank you for pulling me over, your tags are expired. Everything else loaded up. Everything else it's up to par, you have a good day, and go about your business. But instead, like, why y'all always messing with us? Y'all stereotyping us? Y'all finna Mike Brown us? That's the first thing we get. And it's on camera. So when I ask you for your license, and you be like, you ain't got no reason to get my license. You got to tell me why you put me on first. No, I'm asking you for your license, registration, proof of insurance.
Because it's proper.
Because it's protocol.
Right.
I got proper calls to pull your car over, your tags are expired.
Right.
So I'm asking you for your license registration for it. And now you want to cuss me out, yell at me. But then it's a problem when I ask you to step out your car. Hey, sir, come on back here to my car. I'm trying to identify you. I ain't going nowhere. And then that's how it goes.
Here's a secret. Here's a
All it
secret.
is.
Police officers want to get that engagement over with as quick as they can.
It's possible.
So the easiest way when you're engaged with a police officer, respect begets respect.
Agreed.
Respect begets respect.
Because it's not the problem with all officers.
No, it's not.
Say that. You feel what I'm saying? I done met a police officer that's doing his job, handling his business. He come to me, hey, here you go, my registration, insurance, whatever I need to have, I give it to him. And he said exactly what you said. All right, bro, have a nice day, man. Go on about your business. Right?
You got plenty of other stuff to do.
But like I said, it's associated fear. We live with the same fear with the same cats in the street, bro.
Exactly.
You feel what I'm saying? We can't go to the store in our neighborhood. We can't sit out and relax in our neighborhood like we used to because the young generation is different. It's different. And I agree, it's a tough task to kind of basically overcome ignorance. You know what I'm saying? You probably with several level of ignorance that we deal with every day on the same lesser situation.
And you gotta feel where we coming from when we make those traffic stops. It's not even just based off the older, it's the more mature guys. We understand y'all pass is y'all pass. You'd have been in jail 4 times, that's your pass. That ain't got nothing to do with me on my traffic stop right now. But if I come up to the car and how the generation is nowadays, they don't care about police. The younger generation don't care about police. So we fear just as fear as y'all fear. You know what I'm saying? I can walk up to a car, and God forbid me saying this, I can walk up to the car and it can be my last car I walk up to. I don't know that. You get what I'm saying? So if I ask you for this, that, and the other, and you get combative with me, I'm gonna get defensive. Because I don't know what you finna do next, your next move. You don't wanna give me your identification. So who's to say the first time I kill a dispatch, start me another car, boom, I'm gone. You don't know how it's gonna go. So you gotta feel where we coming from. As long as and it's us always going up to a car on safety first. Because the younger generation is messing it up for everybody because officers are scared that we want to go home the same way we came every day. That's no one thing they preach a roll call. Leave the same way you came.
And the same thing, like I said, some officers don't give calm respect to civilians.
Right.
If you do feel that way, I understand it because they out here told Draco. We know
Right.
what's up.
Exactly.
We know what's up out here. All I'm saying is, how can I put this the right way? I'm trying not to say it wrong, but you know what I'm saying?
Just speak. Just speak. Just speak.
My situation ain't your situation.
Right.
Because I feel the disposition because I was in compliance.
Right.
I gave my information.
Right.
I told him to search my car. I told him to do it. Why cram me in the back of the car? You get what I'm saying? It's like judging your situations. You gotta feel your people out. If you walk up to a car and they in compliance, why go that far? It's not necessary. Let me in compliance now.
Let me interject if I can. I'm on both sides of the coin. I was the deputy sheriff for 22 years, retired from Sheriff County Sheriff's Department. I've been where they've been. I've seen what happened and how they need to protect themselves. To put you in the backseat of the car, I understand you have one leg, but you got 2 arms. Okay? Safety is first. He's got to secure you in a position where you can't do harm to him.
On the traffic stop.
On the traffic stop,
Compliance. I can see if I'm rowdy or
no, but
upset.
understand that. It's safety first, okay? He's out there, he's not liked by a few people that may like him, some may not like him. You got to protect him. My whole thing was, when I left home, and my kids, I kissed him, and I said, Daddy's gonna do his best to get back home to you by any means necessary. And that's what I did. So I see, and I've been there, what they do. But on the other side of that, I've seen some things now since I've been retired. When we look at, and I'm gonna throw it out at Michael Floyd, in this situation, I think about it. That situation, when this gentleman told him that he was claustrophobic, couldn't there have been another call put out and said, I got a guy here that crossed the road. Back in the day, we had what we call petty wagon. And we have a wagon come out, which was large enough that he couldn't have been feeling claustrophobic. Because of that, we got a man dead because the officers didn't use good judgment. And we got an officer that's in jail pretty much the rest of his life. So,
Well, I guess I'm sorry. I mean, devil's advocate, I'm on his side on this one because I'm like, it's a traffic stop.
right.
It's a simple traffic stop. If it's a ticket, it's a ticket. Get my ticket so I can go. If it's a traffic stop, and if it's about this. But if you look for something else, and I ain't no disrespect, he ain't finna run nowhere. And if I pat you down, he ain't got no gun. He ain't finna run nowhere. I can sit you on the curb. And I'm saying that you sit against the car. He ain't finna run. He ain't got no gun. So where the fear at? Where's the fear when it's like, besides the conversation, don't be scared of his color. Because I'm saying that like, no, he might have some. He might have something in his leg. Okay, but he ain't finna run. And I'm just, it's the compassion that we in our mission. We're gonna be compassionate to a lot of situations. He ain't finna run if it's a ticket about a tail light. Because we've seen across this country about certain things get blown out of proportion. And I understand where he's coming from, because we talk about not coming home, but in certain situations, you talk about whatever happens to you in this traffic stop, if I be one bullet, I'm one bullet away from being in the grave, and I'm one indictment away on my decision. Because if I take it like, I might be indicted because I was wrong, because I was overzealous about something. When we look at it, it was just a traffic ticket.
But how many officers have been shot on the traffic stop?
And see, that's the thing. Most of your officer involved shooting occur on traffic stops. And going to what you said, just like you're a human being, under that uniform is a human being.
Right.
And like you said, you had good run-ins with officers, you had bad. So that's human being. I've had run-ins with good people, not even on this job, and bad people. What folks don't understand, and this barbershop talk, if you a jerk, you're gonna be a jerk in the uniform, you're gonna be a jerk out of the uniform. And a lot of times, if you a jerk, the uniform make you more of a jerk. So my thing is, and we tell the officers there too, just like you don't want to be judged by what some other person did, don't judge this officer by what some other officer did.
Right.
Don't judge me by what that officer did up in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
I agree.
Don't do that, because I'm a human being, just like you.
Right.
And like you said, you want to be respected, so do I.
I think one of the biggest things is that the fear of the unknown. That's what we keep talking about the whole time. We run around the same circle, one in the uniform, one out of the uniform. It's the fear of the unknown. At the end of the day, everybody's saying, I'm uncomfortable, I'm trying to get home. He trying to get home, and he trying to get home.
That's what I was about to tell you.
So I'm just afraid of he.
Just what I was about to tell you. All of us have been through the academy, and this is a video they show in there. This guy, he has his daughter with him, his baby girl, when he get pulled over. And like you said, he was compliant. He was compliant all the way up into the point where he thought he was about to go to jail. And he took one punch and laid this officer out and took her off of work, broke the side of her face. And he had his daughter with him standing outside, and he hit a woman in front of her. But he, like you said, you was compliant all the way up and all the way through. This guy was compliant all the way up until the point where he thought he might be finna go to jail. So this man, when he pull you over, yeah, you compliant right now, but he don't know when you might change your mind.
Well, hold on, I got one. Hold on.
Wait a minute, let's hear from
I
Carl.
want to know
Let's hear
where
from
the
Carl.
traffic stop was. It just happened.
Belts in Florida.
Oh, in Florida.
Right.
South
Florida. Did the officer have the camera on? Then
I
was it
believe this was before
before we had the
the
camera?
Yeah.
Well, you're probably going to see a little difference because our internal affairs complaints dropped by 75%. We're all wanting to treat everybody with respect. We want it the same, but I've been on over 32. Lieutenant Colonel Bass been on 37. We've seen a lot of things, and we've seen officers make traffic stops and the driver's got homicide warrants out. So we go from stopping someone like that who is very dangerous, might have a gun, might shoot him, or to the little old lady. I mean, you just don't know. Every stop is different, and they might walk up to someone, they're compliant, and we run them on our PDA, and they have a warrant. Well, you know it changes like that. He goes, yes, officer, here's my license, though. No, F you, I ain't going no damn way. And then the fight's on. That's why you see traffic stops with more than one officer now. You might see 5 or 6. You're like, what the hell are they doing? Well, it's officer safety. We're not necessarily doing that to intimidate you. It's just safety. It's all about officer safety. And I think if you were wearing a uniform, you would do the same thing. But we're always trying to get better at what we do. And it don't take but one, though, to ruin it. I mean, we saw what happened in Minnesota. We see what happened in St. Louis and other things like that. And after the St. Louis thing, things changed for everybody. That's why we have cameras. But, you know, we get accused of a lot of stuff we didn't do. So the camera vindication. Not only that, we have cameras all over the city. And we've got some up and down through here. People have them on their homes. There's people standing by with cell phones, and those cell phones that citizens have caught officers doing things they shouldn't do either. So we don't want someone to tarnish the MPD, and we deal with them. So we encourage everybody to be professional. Sometimes you just can't do it.
Understand.
But I think that
Not crime victim.
why you got put in the back seat, don't know.
But you know, to me, I found out that the officer is still on guard. You talking about that video, I saw it too. At some point, she was comfortable. She got comfortable because he was nice.
Right.
Okay? And when she relaxed, and he knew he was gonna go to jail, that's when it exploded.
He even told his daughter, baby girl, I can't go to jail.
Yeah, I can't go to jail. So here we are with a situation that once the officer come off of his job, him picking this flow. So you're gonna find him always on, not pins and needles, but he's gonna be on guard, looking out and trying to find out what's gonna happen. And once it's over, knowing that everything went right, he'll say, have a good day, he'll be taken, and go on.
But
But
let's
I just want to say one thing. I'm Lieutenant Rudolph. So here's one thing I want to say is we do have body worn cameras.
I mean, after this one, we're gonna go to the next subject.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So we do have body
Cut off.
worn cameras on, right? So if something's going wrong on a traffic stop or whatever contact you come in with officers, comply. Because if that officer's being a jerk or doing something they're not supposed to be, you can get them on the back end. You
Right.
can go to internal affairs, you can go to their precinct, talk to a supervisor, because what they're gonna do is they're gonna go first to that body worn camera. And they're gonna watch it, every bit of it. And what happens if their body worn camera's not on? They're still gonna get charged because they don't have their body worn camera on. So the officer's not gonna walk away with nothing happen to them. So that's one thing that everybody needs to remember. It can be handled. Just don't handle it right there on the scene when everybody's up here.
Right,
Handle it later, because it'll get taken care of.
right.
So I just kinda wanna throw that out.
So we get summer interns every year, and one of our favorite things I like to tell them is, you can't hold court on the side of a road with a fool.
Yeah, right.
You cannot hold court on the side of a road with a fool.
And that fool goes both ways.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm just saying.
right.
Right.
So
If you're not a fool, you still get treated the wrong way. And you don't know how to handle this situation.
Complain.
Part of the problem.
ISB.
Yes, right. And that's what they said. The return affairs. He gets smacked right now because he hit a couple days of suspended.
I wouldn't have knew that if you would have told me.
Yeah, he shot it. This is a supervisor right here. And then he called the wrong call. He tells me to go out, they put us in surgery, him called, and with the same token, whether it's a call at your house, whether you got a traffic stop, and if it's not a response that you don't understand, excuse me, I just don't understand what you're saying. But again, I always like to say, and I always come to these conversations, you weren't born with a gun and badge and a crib. And they come up with y'all thought that fast.
all right, so let's go to the next subject. This is very important. The new handgun carry, the permitless handgun carry law. So, yeah. So this doesn't mean everybody gets a gun, everybody gets to go out with a gun. There's still rules. And so who wants to take that, Lou?
I mean, what I would like to ask, what do you all think you can do with this new law? Does anybody know?
On the new handgun permit, the carry. What, how you feel about it? What you think about it? Or,
Look, I feel like they shouldn't win anything. And I got permission. I don't agree with it. You know, it's like, you know, what I'm paying a renewal for, you know, spending money all these years. So maybe I can get a little more insight on how it works. Anyway.
Well, one thing you can count on with the handgun permit, you can actually carry a handgun in the park because you have a handgun permit. Individuals who don't have a handgun permit can't carry it in the park. Here's another thing too. The rules are still yet the same. If you're a convicted felon, you can't carry a handgun.
Right.
All right? If you're convicted of a domestic violence, can't carry it. If you're dishonorable discharge from any military branch, you cannot carry it. The same thing, if you go into a business and it's posted, you cannot carry a firearm. You cannot carry a firearm. All right? So it's the same thing. It's just now that if you're not over the age of 21, you can't carry that firearm. I think that, and I'm siding with you. You're right. It just opened up Pandora's box. Right. People think that, you know, the gates of guns and carrying guns is wide open, and I'm gonna walk right in there. Right. One of the biggest things that I see that scares me and should scare everybody else is that individuals who think they can carry guns, they carry it in a unsecured way. And we just had an incident not too long ago, a couple of days ago, where somebody opportunistic situation happened where this guy went up behind him because this person came in there looking like he came out of 1949 out of the Wild West, and gun just literally hanging out of his pocket. Somebody went and snatched it. Not a level 1, level 2, he ain't even level no holster.
No level.
Just there to be taken.
Right.
That's
well, I'm gonna pick it back on some stories that we got. It's not an investigation, but it's some stories that we have, and I think Officer Johnson can probably give more insight on it. When we talk about this new law, and I use the word ignorance. You walk outside and somebody breaking into your car. You go out there and you shoot somebody. This ain't happened. The guy put a gun on top of the car, where the police killed him. Right. And he said, yeah, he was breaking my car, the dude ran across the street. And we told him to basically, my job told him to turn around, put your hand behind your back. He said, what you talking about with doing? He said, you just shot this dude. You can't protect your property in the state of Tennessee. And so, it's not that law enforcement fearing about this new gun law, because it's a little heightened awareness of that. You almost expect everybody got a gun. I'm telling everybody, expect everybody got a gun with any kind of confrontation you got, because everybody gonna be scared. Right. Stand your ground. So with that being said, we ended up having to lock this guy up because he thought he could protect his property. And this is where these conversations, like I said, at the barbershop, they come out. You cannot protect your property.
I'm gonna interject. Blue, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
You can be 18 to 20 and carry a gun with this new law, if you've been in the military and passed boot camp. So you do have individuals now that's under 21 that's carrying a handgun. Okay? I'm gonna tell you something that I saw that was very disturbing. I think I posted it on my social media. The type of guns that you can carry. It is still a TCA or prohibited weapons. Okay? So you see these citizens walking around with machine guns, that's against the law. That is a prohibited weapon. You can't go on with a machine gun. Okay? Rifles. You can't go on with a rifle. That's a prohibited weapon. Okay? A lot of people don't know this. And what happens is, you in the barber shop, guy come in with an AR-15 strapped across his chest. Say, my governor said I can do this, right? Oh, sir, your governor didn't say that. All right? And we have to get that call. Going back to what you said, we got to be educated. All right? Somebody fumbling the ball. But just like in the NFL, the ball fumble. We ain't got to just look at it. Somebody got to pick it up. So, you see a young cat in the neighborhood, like he said, with a no-level holster. You might need to say, hey man, we get a holster for this thing. Go home. You know what I'm saying? Because it might come out better from you than this officer right here. You see what I'm saying?
And there's still liabilities as far as civil liabilities.
Right.
Whenever you discharge a bullet from a gun, you own it. Wherever it goes, you're responsible for it. What he's going to get out of that class is that he took a class in the state of Tennessee in order to substantiate him getting a handgun permit, right? So he's been trained. He knows when deadly force is authorized. He knows what a backdrop is. He knows when he has a good shot. He knows the difference between cover and concealment. He knows a lot of those things. What we need right about now, since we got it, since it's here, since nothing we can do about it right now, other than educate. I think they just denoted that. Educate yourself on how to use it, how to carry the weapon, and when you can shoot and when you cannot shoot, and the ramifications of what's going to happen after you pull that trigger. That's important.
Knowledge is key.
It's key. It's key.
Because you could be in here and have an issue with me. We going back and forth. You decide to pull the trigger. You shoot me, bullet go through this wall, two other walls, kill somebody else over there. That's on you, Pop. Wherever that bullet leads, wherever it go, wherever it land, it's on you.
As a Memphis civilian, I'm afraid. I can't enjoy myself. I can't sit on my porch, smoke a cigarette, and watch the sunset. You dig what I'm saying? I'm afraid because so many people got guns. Right? Whistle. Right? You catch a body every 2 days. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that I don't want to go get a gun and be just as tough as them. I'm afraid for my kids to come outside and play. They can't even come outside and play no more. I got girls, 7 kids, right? And I keep the house on video games. I live in the video games, right? And I stop the video games because they shooting the video games. And then they come outside, they want to turn it into real life. You know what I'm saying? It's just a struggle. I'm not saying that we innocent in the case. I'm really saying we slip the problem.
That's a lot of issues right there, what you just said.
You slip the problem.
But what your kids have, that some of these kids out here that's out here shooting, not only that, but somebody at the house to tell them the difference between the video game, the rap video.
What we called it last week? Filth.
They got a filter in the house that say, hey, that's TV. What you see on the movie, what you see The Rock do and Wesley Snipes and all that shooting up everything, that's TV. A lot of these young people out here don't have somebody at home to tell them, hey man, you can't do this. Because, you know, I grew up with NWA. I grew up with all it. So I grew up watching folks shoot. I grew up with all it. But I had parents at the house that say, hey man, that's TV. That's the movie. When they get shot, guess what? They get up and they keep on going.
That ain't real.
That ain't real. A lot of these kids out here, a lot of these young folks, they don't have somebody in the house to tell them that. So when they leave the house out of playing that video game and they hop in that 15 or they charge with their strap, with their Draco, they still in video game TV mode. And in their mind, that's what they are. In their mind, that's what I said. But they don't have nobody. But they don't have nobody to feel to them.
Them cats cowards.
But they don't have anybody to feel. But who is telling them that? They need somebody at home to tell them that. Go ahead, Lou. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead, man. I mean,
you gotta listen to it. Watching on TV, watching the video games, you hear it in the music on the radio, and then you go outside and turn it to your own reality without an understanding. That's a problem. I feel like, honestly, from the downside point, we need more advocates in the streets to tell them, no, bro, this ain't cool. But you know what? We got grown men scared of kids.
Going back to the gun thing, what we was trying to stay on. If they had gun classes, if these folks were made to go to gun classes, then somebody in their gun class could teach them those things.
Amen,
but now that they don't have it, now you got an issue.
Haley, you had something?
I just wanted to say, it's go back to like how they're saying filters. They have people to talk to. Not even just your kids. You can be walking down your neighborhood. Your kids can be playing with other kids that don't know half the stuff that your kids may know. Right. That you can step in and help them to help us educate them.
It takes a village.
Exactly. I received a call. I got a call where a little kid, we was dealing with an issue inside the house, and a little kid, 12 years old, his game was on. He's playing the game. And he literally walked up to me and said, I got a gun, just like you got a gun. At 12. Why are we even talking about guns?
Scared we don't go to jail for being mad.
So then he came, and then it went further where he asked can I see your gun? That's when I immediately pulled that kid to the side, took him outside, and made him have a one-on-one coaching.
Right.
Because evidently his parents are not showing him what someone else needs to be showing him.
But you see what he just did? Haley took the opportunity. He had a child that was right there in his space, and he loved on him. He coached him up. That's our job. You know, whether you're a police officer, a bank person, or a KFC cook, if you have influence, if you have a position where you can, you know, talk to a kid or a young person and coach them up, do it.
Every day.
So let me expound on that real quick. The cameras are always on when the police screwing up.
Oh yeah.
But they will never catch us in that intimate conversation like that. They'll hardly ever catch us doing stuff like this. Twin know, Burks know, everybody knows that I do the similar thing. And I have the most gutterous people in my thing. I think everybody probably knows I'm probably most noted for the Craig Pettis investigation. All right? One of my last sitting around a thing like this, I had people like Big Bill and these folks that, you know, I had to get with. Right? The reason why I'm telling you this is because of this. We love our folks.
Yes.
You ain't got to be scared of us. We human, just like you are. I promise you that. Will you encounter an asshole every now and again? Yeah, ain't no doubt about it. But for the most of us, man, we're gonna treat you like you want to be treated. It's unfortunate. Yes, I'm gonna tell you something. I had this conversation too often. Let me give you an example. Right now, it's Black Lives Matter. I had an opportunity to talk to Devontae Hill and a couple other individuals who with that particular movement. If Black Lives Matter, why Black Lives don't matter when folks get killed every single day? Hold on, I'm coming somewhere. I'm gonna bring this on circle, cuz. Y'all in my backyard now. I'm just coming out here to eat with you. Check this out. You scared of the police, and you said just then. You said you more scared of the folks out there on the street. You ought to be.
Yeah, I go to
You ought to be.
I can't live my life in peace.
The number shows that unfortunately we kill each other more so than the police ever kill us. Every day.
Right.
Every day. Every day. You can't even you ain't enough toes and fingers in here to count all the folks that we I'm just keeping it 100 with. That's the truth.
I'm with you.
That's the truth.
I agree with you.
But a lot of the times, man, we can kill all of this noise as far as violence is concerned with one thing. Conflict resolution and being nice to each other. I guarantee you, my bad brother goes a long way.
Yes.
Hey, bro, you have a good day. I'm going on by my business.
Right.
I promise you.
Right.
I stopped a young lady over here, and I swear to God, I said, you know, I ain't here to do all this stuff, but when I see stuff going on, because she ran a red light right in front of me, I almost killed somebody. All I want to do is tell, because I ain't had one ticket booked to save my life. I went and checked the one out after I dealt with her, but nevertheless, I stopped her. Man, her neck got to rolling so fast, I thought I had to go to the store and get some oil, just oil her neck up, because she was just, I mean, she went to town. Why you stop me? Let me get my camera. After she did all that, I said, baby, all I want to tell you is that you can't do that. She said, was that all? I said, yeah. I said, we could have ended this 5-10 minutes ago.
Right.
Just be nice.
I agree with you, officer.
Yes, sir.
I feel like in the hood, let's just say hood, there's no such thing as a hood. It's just a place, it's land, building that have no intentions of ever being negative or positive. What we have or what we need on a lower level is more advocates, more places. My community seems to shut down. I can't get a group of kids to go there without another group of kids saying, oh, he's gonna do something to them kids or something. I'm trying to have the kids a good time. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in an era where we had advocates. I had brothers of mine that taught me right from wrong. Like, no. But sometimes you have to be an eminent force. So I understand what police need. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, sometimes we just need more places to advocate. Just more places to try to grab some of these, give them activities, incorporate more sports activities. Something to give them something to do other than enjoy what's on TV, enjoy what's on the radio.
You're right.
That message from them places ain't significant. They negative. All these kids, all the rappers, if you listen to them, you don't understand half what they're saying. But you do hear three things. I got guns, I got drugs, and I miss one.
Right.
But you're right about what you said about conflict resolution.
Yeah.
I'm a prime example. I was at the gas station, this happened about 2 months ago. I had, Quince and, people with pigs on. I go in there, I've been waiting in line for a while, a young man come in and, about to skip me in line. So I went over, I was playing, the line over here. You know, everybody had on masks, during the time. And he kind of looked at me, like, sized me up, looked me up and down. And he's like, man, you studying on this shit you talking about? Bird, you know.
Oh, yeah.
This is my cousin. You know, Chris. I'm like, man, the old 90s beat, I looked at him, you know, my heart started pumping, you know, because, you know, it's crazy out here nowadays.
Right.
I'm tripping.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy out here. So I piped down, I said, you know what? I said, but I be like, yeah, I know I'm cool, I know I'm straight. The other customers and stuff, he kind of looked at me, like, you know, like I said, we got these masks. I'm like, this nigga's really don't know what I'm talking to, you know.
Right.
You know, like I said, conflict resolution.
That's it.
Joe, go ahead, man. You have a nice day. I went home. Now, that all, you know, then when he left, I went out the store first, on the gas. He went to his car, he sat in the car for a while. So I'm keeping my eye on the car. So I got to pump the gas, put the last about $100 up. As soon as I was ready to open my car door, he pulled out and I was like, oh, please don't make this. I'm gonna start shooting my car. You see this on the news every day. You hear this every day. Also, not every other day, every day on the news. He rolled the past one down, pussy. Something like that.
You know, let me throw this in. I'm sitting here.
And we appreciate you for that.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me say this. You know, I go back from an era. I'll be 69. The Lord said the same in October. But I'm thinking about a word that keep coming up. Big Mama.
Oh, yeah.
There's no more Big Mama.
Big Mama, 28.
Yeah. Big Mama, great Big Mama.
And the real mama.
Yeah. She's 30. She's real mama. Okay. But I'm saying,
She ain't
when I said
babysitting
Big
nobody.
Mama, it goes back to the point that some of the things, it comes down to home training. Big Mama taught you. Do I have a witness?
Yes.
Yeah, and when you walked up and grown folk was talking, and you interrupt, Big Mama, bah! And don't you see grown folk talking? The reason why that the gentleman talked to you like that is because there was no Big Mama.
Big Mama did all right for that.
Uh-huh. So the problem we have to get into the home of the parent. Now, my dad used to tell me all the time, boy, I did in the house by 12 o'clock. Now, if you go and see a 12:01, you got somewhere else to stay. Because you can't stay here. As long as you're in my roof and under my roof, you got to do what I got to do. Mama, there's no more Big Mama. Mama, there's daddy that's absent. Ain't nobody there to tell them that, hey, what you doing is wrong. If that officer asks you a question, you answer. You know, man, I said right now, I'll say yes sir, no sir. They ain't taking nothing from me.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
that's a proper.
But that was the proper way to do it. But the problem is we got to go back, and I'm gonna just say it. The problem is home training. Once we get people to start doing what Big Mama did, then in some cases what Granddaddy did, because they didn't play. Now, they've been having babies. When you got a child and the mama ain't no more than 14 years older than the child thinks that they friends more than family. So we got to get back, how do we, as community leaders, as officers, how do we get into that home to say to the parent, you're responsible for his action?
All right, we're gonna shut this one down. We got two more.
Okay.
Young man back here, and then right here.
Well, so my question, I don't have a question, I guess more of a statement, was, you know, I'm 35 years old, from the ages of 18 to 35, my interaction with the police, I've had more encounters of where I was fearful of the police or where I was pulled over unjustly or treated unjustly. So I have more instances where I've interacted with the police and it was a negative experience than I've had where I've ever needed the police. So for me, personally, I hear the conversation. First, let me start back. I commend police officers and 100% support the work you guys do. It's needed. And I'll just say that. So commend you for that. But I do think when the message of Black Lives Matter was brought up, that I think the comparison of us killing each other is a totally separate conversation, situation that I tend to think that I keep out of the conversation when I'm trying to support cops and as a police officers, because they can get diluted in that message, because that's a separate situation. I think when people mention Black Lives Matter, that is a situation between the cops and citizens. And so those two things, so yes, citizens, there's white on white crime, there's black on black crime. Crime is an issue, obviously, you guys know, we all know that. But I think it's best to keep those two conversations separately to prove your case, because I agree with everything that you said on that regards, because conflict resolution and this de-escalations of issues and situations that come up are very, very important. But de-escalation is something that we know that the citizens in the city have an issue, that a lot of the citizens in Memphis are not mentally stable where they should be. So the expectation for them to be able to de-escalate a situation, I just don't have faith in that. And so that's why I depend upon you guys to be able to be trained to de-escalate, because I'm not going to expect Johnny on the street to be able to do that, because we already know that Johnny has the issue. And so when it comes to that conversation, that's when I expect, my police officers to come in. When in situations where I've been involved with cops, I've had to de-escalate the situation because I work in promotion for the city of Memphis, and the PR side, I'm directing PR for Memphis Tourism. And so I'm usually not in spaces to where I'm always on a positive note for the city, but on the side, one day I'm selling the city, and then the next side, I'm getting pulled over. I had an incident on Bill Street where I was riding a bike, and I've seen, the cop told me to leave the street, right? And he's telling me to leave the street, and because it's even no longer a bike, it's COVID. The street is empty. I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know, no bikes are allowed. I work in tourism, you would think I would know that, but I didn't. I was really riding bikes in the evening so I could get a breath on what was happening in the community as far as tourism. So that was my way of connecting with downtown Memphis. And so anyway, he wouldn't let me, I'm here, the exit is right there. Now, you would think this cop would allow me to get to this chair. He said, no, you're gonna go back the way you came, through the entrance of the street. Now, if it's important for me to exit the street, and that was a power trip for him, I guess. I don't know the why, but that was just my mind. I'm like, if it's a danger for me to have the bike, then why can't I exit right here? I need to leave this immediate. So it's even that point, even to the point to where I was pulled over. I used to be a morning show producer for the Mike and Minnie morning show. I'm 18, I guess I was 20 years old at the time, going to the radio station, pulled over, and 4 in the morning, and asked all sorts of questions as to why am I up early, what am I doing, and finally got to the bottom of it. I'm late to the radio station because I picked the description of who or what. No information was given. I give it to these officers though. Once they figured it out, they apologized. But that has been consistent of my experience from 18 to 35. So it's really hard when I know that there's so many other peers. I mean, I can go on and on in this situation. I had another incident where I had to go to court.
Let's hold on that. We got time is
okay. But anyway, there's been multiple. I'll say that all to say was there's been all instances I've never been arrested or pulled over and like arrested or anything like that. But I've had instances and encounters that I've had to deal with. So I can see how it's just me as a general, well-educated Memphian who supports the city on a day-to-day taxpaying citizen, how I can even find myself in a situation where I have a distrust with police officers. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
I want to respond to what you said about that officer who you couldn't understand why he wouldn't let you go through right there. You got a job. Your job has rules and regulations. You got a boss. Same here. So if I'm working on this end of Beale Street and my boss has told me nobody comes through here, period, I have to answer to him. So you might be standing right there and the exit might be right here. You looking at it. But my boss has told me nobody comes through here, period. So that means you gotta go back because if I let you through here and he sees it, now I disobeyed my boss.
That's not the situation. That makes a lot of sense.
But exactly, but
I hear what you're saying, but that's not what happened.
Let me finish. That does say it all, because I've worked down there and we've been told, look, all traffic going this way, period. So we get people, man, I can just go right there and I'll be, no. We were told, all traffic goes this way. That's what my boss told me.
This wasn't that. This wasn't that. This was not the situation.
But let's real quick, because we got to go somewhere else. I know I'm going to let you down. It's like you just need somebody to vent with. I'm going to give you my number. You can just, share your story.
We got tons of stuff, but those stories I share are multiplied times hundreds. So
yes, me
not,
too. I didn't always look like this. I didn't always look like this bald-headed guy with this uniform. 16 years I had dreadlocks. I can't tell you how many times the police pulled me over. So when I tell you, give me your phone number so we can talk at a later time, I got some stories to tell you that'll shock the hell out of you. Trust me, I do. But at the end of the day, let's go with this. Let's go with this one here.
Right there.
So I got a comment on that too. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be completely honest with you as well. I'm hearing everything as a listener, but it's almost like you just brushed them off.
No.
Hold on. Let me finish my statement.
Go ahead.
Because this is the environment for everybody to communicate. Now, from what I hear, I think one of the things that really helps the situation is the relationship. Because even if what you're saying, let's say that scenario that you're talking about here, what if that was true, right? What if that was your little brother that was riding his bike, or your cousin, or your wife? You wouldn't have made them ride all the way back around. So let's just be honest, all right? But to me, the difference is the relationship, though. So, to the positive, I believe that this type of setting is healthy, just so we can do what you say, then communicate, develop a relationship.
Let me get right there, because I got to straighten it up. Trust me, I have probably brushed no one. I know how it is to be not listened to. Trust me.
Because if anybody have taken the time to come here, got a vent. Then everybody else got something else they could be doing.
Exactly. So because of the time frame, that's the only reason why I'm trying to assist him in, because he got two other topics that he has to go to.
So y'all only doing this like sanctions? So you're saying that y'all only got a time frame, then y'all got
it was open to dialogue. Don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking what you're saying. Right. We were open to dialogue, but we were trying to make sure we get some points across, especially when we talk about the gun law. That was main thing, because it's a lot of.
I guarantee you, we're gonna be here after they get through filming. We gonna stay here.
So the purpose of this is to create solutions, or to just
it's all really going on. Really, is everybody just.
Well, that's the reason why I'm writing things down, and I talk to y'all later about it. But the only reason why I'm trying to add solutions inside this whole mechanism, I'm serious about giving you my number and chopping it up with you, because we gonna talk. But it's important that all of the topics be covered. I'm on duty right now. He listened to the radio for me because we got to get out of here. We got to get out of here, but it is imperative that you have us here in order to bounce off those particular questions. It's not fair to y'all, not fair to us, that we had to operate in such a short time span. But trust and believe, I don't brush nobody. I had my adopted grandson call me at 4 o'clock in the morning. I answer my phone for everybody. Everybody's opinion is important to me.
So,
everybody.
Okay, let me say this and then we can move on. I know everything is time restricted. Ms. Rhonda did just say something, which I agree with her. She said 2 things can be true, which I believe that, right? 2 things can be true. However, my point is, in my opinion, when we're talking about solving issues, right? Because it's about solutions. I got 1,000,000 stories, y'all got 1,000,000 stories, he got 1,000,000, she got 1,000,000, everybody has stories, correct?
Right.
Now, if we're really trying to get to the bottom of it, from my opinion, I think that a good resolution is one of the things that's happening today, having the conversation, cultivating a healthy relationship.
Right.
See, when I see Officer Campbell, it's like, what's up? That's my friend when I see him.
Right.
I don't see an officer. You understand what I'm saying? Although Officer Campbell is an officer.
Right.
But then a lot of times, I notice I don't know exactly what it is, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of times, you don't see these men officers like this unless it's probably a negative thing, or is it just for the camera to roll and it looks good? You know what I'm saying? Or just for people to come and leave. But if we're really talking about solving issues, I know the situation that happened with Mendenhall right here on the corner.
Right.
All right, I've been on this block for a long time. And y'all know this shit happen all of the time on this block. Now this young lady, Miss Wonder, she had a bullet come through her window. One of my barbers the other day had a bullet come through his car window. He was just in the car. So the purpose is to solve these problems. You understand what I'm saying?
So can I say something regarding based off back to what he said about the Bill Street? And the fact, I'm glad you did bring up the Mendenhall, and it's probably still up on investigation. But you said that your exit was right here. You was right here. Now
Now
I'm
we're face to face.
right, y'all was face to face.
Face
Now I'm
to
gonna fast forward to the Mendenhall. We on the homicide, double homicide. We got crime scene tape up. Someone's loved one is laying here, gone.
There's no crime scene.
But it's a difference though.
He just said he saw a woman run the red light and didn't get with a ticket.
Yeah.
But
Because he didn't have one.
But
Because
no, he had a radio.
He didn't have
He could
paper.
call somebody to come get a ticket.
But
You
he
just
didn't
said,
have to
no, you just said, y'all said,
Conflict
other
resolution,
other officers pull up because of the safety.
Yeah.
Right? Well, you didn't feel like you were in need of giving her a ticket or you were in need of safety, but you could have called and said, "Ma'am, you did just run a light. It's against the law. If my superior find out I'm doing this, I will be held accountable." And you could have called somebody else.
That's the same thing
And
about
my-
his
and my
situation.
That's what I'm telling you. So if he could let him go, he could have let him go.
Okay, but look at
that's
this.
a relationship.
I'm fast forwarding to the Mendenhall.
But let's
I'm fast forwarding to the Mendenhall. It's one person that came up.
hold on. Let's
said,
let's hear from the message.
Thank you for being here. Thank you all for your service, your sacrifice, and for being present. But one of the key things is listening and timing. While this young man was sharing his situation, it may not have been the right time to say, or it may have been a situation where we have to direct all traffic that way. It shuts people down. So as we try to build relationships together, I think just listening and then at the appropriate time, interjecting that at another time. Because two things can be true.
Exactly.
And in that instance, maybe they could have let you there. Maybe they couldn't, but no one wants to be shut down because they won't continue to share.
No, I didn't
And
shut
this
him
is
down.
for us
I
to
just
share.
gave you an example of why that may have happened. I wasn't shutting him down.
But let's go.
Let's show.
So I'll say
I want to hear this. So let me get it to you real quick. So when we first started this thing off, with just probably about 4 or 5 people on there. I think Q was on the line that day. We just talked about this. Man, we was on the line for 3 hours. It dropped. And we just talking. We grabbed subjects. I was screaming in the middle of it, say, hey man, hold on. We get ready to go here and shake around and roll. We get ready to do what we do. And we want to make sure this thing got big enough where people could come in and voice their opinion and say what they got to say. Well, we will be on the line literally. We'd be 4 hours on the Zoom. It would drop when we come back. We be back again and do what we do. The biggest thing we want to do here, just as you were saying, man, is that we want police presence everywhere. Yeah. We want you to start going in the barbershop. We want you to start going to community places. We talked about Big Mama. Big Mama, yeah, I'm with it. But I want to see, and we want to see from this group, the relationship built. I ain't going to get us back where we was, and I'm going to say this right here. We were talking about the gun law. We were talking about stuff that was going on. Because what we do at the end, guys, everybody that's here, we go back and revisit. So we do go through these things, and then we go back and revisit. And we'll still be here, we ain't leaving, we going to hear it. I'm not even a police officer, and I'm going to sit here with you, and we going to talk. That's a done deal. This ain't no fact, this ain't no fiction, this real deal. But what I want to ask the question is, and I want to make this statement, we were talking about the gun law. We talking about people not being intelligent about what's going on. I'm just asking before we go to the next one, because I'm going to shut it down right here. It's on you. I want to find out if you guys putting something together to put up at the barbershop, put up at the beauty supply, put up somewhere in the community so we'll know what guns like they can have and can't have. And I know it might be tedious, but hell, we dying out here. So we got to get what we got to get on it.
Information's been shared on social media concerning.
Yes, sir.
This Facebook page, I can bring some printed ones out and bring them to the barber shop.
Okay.
What about billboards? Like, billboards.
Billboards, now that's gonna cost some money. And everybody knows that when it costs money, you got to go through the chain of command, this, that, and that. But we'll be more than happy to do. Y'all know social media is like the bomb. That's how you gonna get your word out there, good or bad. So what we'll do is we'll get with the PIOs and they'll give us the particular thing that they have ordained for us to actually release that will definitely educate each and every individual out there. We'll communicate with one another. We'll give you the Facebook, you give us a Facebook page, post it on that, share it, like it, IG, Facebook or whatever, so we can get that word out there, the things that, the rights and the do's and the don'ts.
Yes, we on the fans call? We on the fans call?
That's just what we're going through right now.
Yes, sir. Fans call, man. We doing our lives out here.
Here it is.
Hold on. I'm gonna start off I'm gonna put this on the ground so we can start off what we talking about. Traffic. And I don't have my statistical data. I'm gonna give the statistical data is
Street racing and crashes.
the street racing crashes, the crashes. And we'll talk about the driving and all that. But I want to say last year about this time, if I pull my notes, we had like a total of 70 crashes that resulted in deaths. 70 total year. We go back to last month when I did the last barbershop talk, we had 112. Now, so this is where this barbershop talk kind of come. I'm trying to get paint this picture for this barbershop. Because this is how I believe in my barber. Because while he cutting your hair, he whispering in your ear, "Hey man, we gonna do to the place around, man. They killing folks. These parents putting out parking lots and kids getting killed, smashed in too. And you know who they are. And it's like, this is where the conversation kind of gets out. Because see, in uniform, they don't too much talk to me when I can say, slow down, I hear the ticket go. But right through the expressway, you can call and give a description of the car, and I'm sure it's gonna probably be offended, it's gonna probably be black, and it's probably gonna have no tag on it. But we used to.
Or it's gonna be a chapter.
Oh, a chapter. So, but the thing about it, we gotta get the citizens, you ain't gotta report your name. You can dial that emergency number, you ain't gotta tell them your name, just say this car drive reckless in my neighborhood or on the interstate. If we don't do it, show presence. And that's what he wants in his shop to, the bullets probably start flying if you just get a cop to in this area, just say, man, come in, treat it like a real live, mom and pop store. Hey, man, because I came to this barbershop the first time I came in. And if I'm lying, everybody in the room looked around and said, who you coming to lock up? And when I left,
you come to get a haircut.
Yeah, I ain't coming right now. They don't even know. But then I came and spilled it to him about what I want and what I thought about the vision of this barbershop talk. And this is where I put it on the ground about these. It's an issue in my community. Memphis is 70% black inside the city of Memphis. Barbershops, 90% black people get their haircuts in barbershops and beauty shops and salons. These are the conversations that we're trying to have. Yes, I know we're gonna talk about it. I want male white officers coming here and have a relationship. Don't be on Beale Street, because I can hear them words and clowning, hollering, and all of a sudden I don't move, and all of a sudden he looks. I'm used to the yells, I'm used to the cussing. When I met over bad words, I know to turn around. But I want to get him familiar with the conversation inside the barbershop. I want him to be able to come in and talk. Sam and the son had Smitty and Hoppy. I want them to come back in here. I want them to come back in here. So that's what I'm saying. I'm getting, we're going to talk about these crashes, but this is where I want to really put out about with the barbers, who I think they are in my community.
See,
come on, go ahead.
Both ways.
So, but we're going to shot this one way though.
I understand, but like we talked about in the last one, it can't just be us in this room. It's got to go both ways. That precinct have never been there forever. I worked out here for 13 years. People, exactly. It can't be just officers, it can't be just bars. It's got to be people in the community willing to, like we got an ambassador program up there. Well, we got actual police ambassadors.
Citizens of
people don't even know about it. You could go up there all day. That is a city building. You can go up there all day, introduce you, hey, I'm such and such, I got a business right here. Y'all welcome to come through.
Business watch.
Let's talk about the neighborhood watch. I'm the precinct commander. If any of you can come out, it's the fourth Tuesday at 6 o'clock. We have a neighborhood watch meeting. We just opened back up in person. We had 30 people that live in the precinct area to come in, but y'all are we want you there. The more the better. One time we had like 80 and we were sitting on buckets because the room wasn't big enough. I'm serious, we didn't have enough chairs. But we want you there. I share crime data. We listen to your concerns. We write them down. We try to address it. And we have guest speakers like code enforcement and other people like that. So it is a good thing for you to do. That way you can hear what I'm telling you, which is crime stats, where crime's happening, what time's happening, when it's happening. Then you can tell me some of the things that you have concerns with. Just like just got an email from the new chief. There's 2 people out here complaining about speeding. Well, I'm sitting here trying to handle that and listen to this. Because we're always working 24/7. We're going to handle everybody's complaint the best to our ability. So I really would love to see y'all come up. Barbers, whatever. We don't have a business watch because we have a business industry group meeting at Phelps Security on Park, but they haven't opened back up, and y'all are more than welcome to go to that as well. So I don't have one up there. And if any of you are preachers, have a clergy meeting every 4th Tuesday at 10 o'clock. So if you're a pastor, we'd love to have you. You're a deacon, church member, we want you there too. And then on the 4th Tuesday, we have apartment managers meeting. So we're doing a lot, but we need more participation. We come out into the community, invite people, but we still want y'all coming too. So you have a invite for Tuesday at 6 o'clock.
This information is on the Facebook website.
Got that on there?
In terms of the schedule.
Yeah, we need to do that because we can't have a precinct Facebook. We just have one MPD, but yeah, we need to put that on there. Since we're open back up, we haven't had a meeting in like a year and 4 months. And it does be good to see all these people come in. We have food and drinks, coffee, things like that. And we might have to start putting out bring your own chair.
Well, awareness is great. So.
It is. So we'll get that on there tomorrow at some point.
Also, to pay back on what the Colonel said, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Eddie Vance, with Assistant Commander. I've been quietly working with the Barber Village community for the last year, and I'm getting the same complaints, some of the same sentiments from the neighbors about speeding, shootings, homicide, and we've been doing everything we can to quietly mitigate a lot of the issues with people in the Barber Village and Yorkshire and other communities as well. So with that being said, I want y'all to write this down and pay attention to this. July the 31st, we're going to have our first community anti-gun violence walk at Sheffield Community High. July the 31st, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. I want to see all these faces there. I want you to be on the front line with us. We're going to have plenty of speakers. This is something that's real, that's tangible. Lord knows I made my fair share of homicide scenes since I've been here. I've been working the Colonel for 15 months. I made numerous shootings out here. I didn't make the double homicide because I was off that night. But I made all types of aggravated assaults, all types of carjackings, all types of wrecks and crashes, from reckless driving and stunt driving. But the point is, we're going to have a community anti-gun violence walk. I'm calling it anti-crime outreach because this is what's needed today. We want to engage the citizens. We want people like you to come out there and help participate, help get the word and message out in a nice, kind, loving way. We want to just say no. The time is today. It's time for some of this foolishness to stop. I don't know what happened after the pandemic, but the pandemic has given a lot of people a false sense of freedom to where they're just reckless and doing everything under the sun. And as Colonel, I've been for 37 years. I'm one of the most senior people in the police department, probably 50 seniority. And God has allowed me to survive and see many things I thought I'd never live to see in the city of Memphis. So with that being said, I want you all to be a part of this. This is just going to be a big galvanization of people. Both mayors are supposed to be there, a host of elected officials, a host of other first responders are going to be there. I want y'all to come and participate. This is much needed. July 31st, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. There's going to be plenty of food. Mount Vernon Baptist Church is going to donate a lot of food, drinks, water. We'll have COVID stations set up throughout it to keep things sanitized and sanitary. Want you to be there. But I'm going to say this. In my 37 years, I lived to see a lot. In fact, I almost died in this community. I got a metal rod, screwed in his knee, screwed in his hip from a bad crash, going to a barricade. But one thing I learned in my career is a whole lot of generational mistrust. I got to put it out there. When I was a boy, my uncles always scared me, you do bad, call the police, call the police. Right now I got 7 family members on the police department, 7 of us, 1 on the sheriff department. We end up joining the law enforcement community. One of the reasons I joined was because of what we first talked about earlier. It's bad traffic stop. I was in the car on a high school date with a young lady. I was in 11th grade. Police stopped me for no reason. Stopped me just because. I told them who my folks were, and I was staying with the police. If they managed to still find a way to write me a ticket. And when I came on the job, I saw that officer. His mouth dropped over to the floor. And we had a conversation about that traffic stop. So with that being said, I understand your perspective. But as a commander today, I understand the officer's perspective. I do. I went and taught at a church about 4 years ago over at Park and Pendleton. The theme was how to survive traffic stops. But during that conversation, I ended up discussing with the congregation generational mistrust. Because it's there. Generational mistrust. Could it be because Big Mama or Granddad had a bad encounter 50 years ago during the 60s, during the late 70s? We don't know. But I don't think the proper information is being conveyed to our children, to future generations. You got to respect law enforcement. And as the officer said, no body-worn cameras, thank goodness I lived to see that come along. We talked about body-worn cameras 25 years ago. But at the time, it was not on the table, it wasn't the language of the day. But it's here today. And if you're ever being mistreated or you're just not being, treated as a citizen, the body-worn cameras tell the tale. That's half my duty. I spend a third of my day looking at body-worn cameras on complaints and from the issue that we have called blue team. It comes to me, I look at it. If it's some upside down, I let the colonel know. If it's okay to meet protocol, it meets policy, I send internal affairs for additional review and acceptance. But I think, even as a black man, there's been a whole lot of generational mistrust and just bad information. I'm gonna take it a step further. Pay attention to the gentleman named Eric Adams in New York, who's about to become mayor. I think he shocked a lot of people when he said, I think in today's world, for the time, to defund the police is a bad thing to do. It's a bad thing to do. Because when you look at the murder rate in the United States, it's higher than all the other poor nations in the world, and has been because of our ability to carry guns and so on and so forth. And as you said earlier, the young man said, without de-escalation with human conflict. But something else, I think the national media has woefully misportrayed, and that's police officers. Lieutenant said it earlier. It seems when we do something bad, the cameras roll. Or if there's a conflict or there's a controversial situation, the camera's rolling, but the story isn't fully told because we don't get all the facts. And all we see is the end result. Well, the officer has made a judgment call which was poor, or the situation went out of hand because he messed up and didn't stay within policy or protocol, practice and procedure. But I think today the conversation, as you said earlier, it's got to be not just in this room, but it's got to go out to the masses. And that's one of the things we want to do July 31st. We want to talk to the people. We want to talk to the public. We want to take it to the street. The time to just say no can be said better in its proper context than today. And go ahead.
Let's go. No, you want to say something right here? Sure.
Like, we perpetuate the same cycle with no results, no resolution. Y'all been 30 years in the game. Y'all seeing the same shit and saying the same shit.
But the change is here.
All right, that's
the change.
It's not. I'm pretty sure the change been here
It's
years
here.
and years. Everything can change a little bit at a time with really no resolution.
The panel just said with body-worn cameras, we're seeing what? A 75%
You
reduction.
just said it was on the table 20 years ago.
It's 25 years, it was. I was here.
I know what I'm saying.
But it wasn't,
So now-
what I said, it was not the language of the day.
Right. So
But
now
today
I'm
it
saying,
is.
not to defund police or to not defund the police. What I'm saying is still a perpetual conversation that wastes time at all times. Even most of these traffic stops waste time. Well, that's why most people are angry with traffic
Listen,
stops.
I'm gonna share my personal experience. Right now, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Eddie Bags. I'm gonna take this suit off in another hour.
It's going back to-
I want you to call me.
Hold on,
Hear me out, 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 hear me out. I didn't stop like any other black man in this room.
Right,
I didn't
right.
tell police who I am.
Right, but I listen to you the whole time you talk.
But
Give me a
I
second.
haven't
Give me a
finished
second.
though.
Give me a second. All right, give me a
Go
second.
ahead.
Because we
Go
on
ahead.
the same thing.
Go
Now
ahead.
you're doing
Go
my
ahead.
authority.
Go
So
ahead.
what I'm telling you is, it's still a perpetual cycle. We're gonna keep doing the same thing. Defund police, not defund police. Get what? It still ain't gonna matter because 20 years ago they were murdering people. What they say? We need to buy more of this. We need to do more of this. We need to do more of this. 20 years later, they murdering more people. All right. So now we just throw blame around to to stop coming up with a resolution. Oh, well, black on black crime, where's this? Where's this? Where's this? All right, everything is happening. So what? So now like, well, let's not talk about this. Let's not talk about Black Lives Matter. Oh, Black Lives Matter. What about black on black crime? Well, I didn't kill nobody. So that's out the window right there. So it's like every time something happens, well, we need to stop doing it. No, we don't, because I was at work. I haven't killed nobody. So everything happens, and it comes back to like everybody like, well, don't look at us as police. Y'all just said the cameras come on when y'all got the uniform on. Y'all don't come around until the uniform on. We won't see these people again ever.
The colonel said the complaints dropped 75% with the implementation of the bottom line camera.
Complaints. But hold on, let me tell you why complaints drop. Because if nothing happens, I'm not filing a complaint. That's why complaints drop. Complaints ain't drop because shit is getting better. Complaints drop because why am I filing a complaint? If my brother hit me and my mama don't do nothing, why am I telling her that he hit me? So that's why it's mistrust. It's gonna be mistrust. Every time something happens, y'all say, well, don't look at us as police, but every time you respond as a policeman. That's big. Now, y'all gonna say, well, we go out here, everybody in here that had a conversation on when you get stopped by police. This is a part of our life. The black people in here, this is a part of our life. You're gonna have a conversation of, if the police stop you, that's already driving while black. You're telling me this. Now, you're police 30 years later, you come out, whatever case may be, you're still having a conversation, and you're police. You got police having a conversation with their kids about how to act when you get stopped by the police. That's wrong.
I'm gonna share some personal with you, and I shouldn't do it, but I'm gonna do it.
Before you do it, I'm just letting you know, it got fall on deaf ears because we're talking about personal experience. We're not talking about community. When you just said when you was young, and your uncle and them said, the police, guess what? Y'all know they're saying they say, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. As a kid, you're the police we hope for. Now we got to prepare for the, right, we got to prepare for the ones that's out here now. We got to prepare for the worst ones. You're the one we hope for. So now preparation, what do we do about preparation? Well, it started in the household, the mama ain't shit, the dad ain't shit, and the grandma wasn't there. Guess what? That started 60 years later. Now we still dealing with it. We're still dealing with it. Granddaddies was gone during slavery. You got bread. People started out with no granddaddy. How you gonna learn how to be a granddaddy? You didn't have a granddaddy. Most of these men out here trying to do something that they never seen been done. 90% of us ain't never been to a marriage. And damn sure ain't seen them successful. So now you got women in relationships expecting men to be something that they see on TV that's scripted. It don't exist. It's scripted because people have to work together. Nothing falls in line and just flows like that.
Right, but listen, hold on. We need to drive on, but I do want to say this. Conversations like this are starting points. You know, this is action.
It's the third conversation. It's the third starting point. That's what I'm saying. It's the third one.
Well, what solutions
we have meetings.
What solutions do you have?
We need to see y'all more. We need to see. Hold on. That's what. No.
We live in the community.
But no, exactly.
Yes, we live in the community. We go to the same churches. We go to the same clubs.
You live in the
same
community. You patrolling.
Yes.
You live around the corner.
Yes.
Okay.
I've been working in White Haven for 20 years, partner, coaching little league and high school.
We're going back to personal experience.
But I can only speak.
Everybody don't live in a community.
Okay.
That's not a requirement to be a police. To be a police, it's not a requirement to live in the community.
It's people that not police that don't live in the community that they work in.
But y'all are, dude, you cannot keep trying to actuate two different things. That's not synonymous. No job on the planet is synonymous with police. That's just like y'all gotta stop doing it. Y'all keep trying to make it seem like, well, this is the same as this, and it's not.
Let me say something, and I ain't gonna sugarcoat, okay? When we got top brass, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat, all right? If you wake up in the morning and you this passionate about this city, like I am, all right? I grew up in Walter Simmons. That's no longer there, okay? I grew up in Walter Simmons, all right? So I know what you're talking about, all right? Being the police, I done got stopped by Shelby County. I done almost got locked up by Shelby County.
I've been locked up.
Did you hear me? I done almost got charged for this job for something I ain't even had nothing to do with. Somebody got killed at my daughter's birthday party. They already had sent down, suspend them 30 days. suspend them 30 days. Now this is my department. Alright? I could have said, man, like other officers do, y'all can have this. I go do something else. I got a master's degree. I ain't gotta be here. But I'm here because I love my city. Not because I love the department. It's other departments in Shelby County I could go work for. I did. I worked for Barber PD. Right? I could have stayed with Barber. I love my city. I love my city. Okay? And like I tell my trainees that come on, if you don't wake up every morning with a thought in your head how you can make this city or community better, we don't need you. We don't need you. Whether you're a PST or whether you're the chief of police. If you're not waking up trying to see, like he the colonel at Moriah Station. If he's not kicking back ideas, how can I make Moriah Station better? He's not there to benefit my city. My city. Okay? If you look at my social media posts, everything hashtag my city, my heart.
And I want to give everybody credit for being here. The colonel to come here. It takes a lot to get away behind that desk, to walk in here into a barber shop and listen to us. And I like to say this, okay, he's here. We got a step. We did took one step. The first step, for me to walk in this building, you knew how it was when I walked through this building. And I'm coming back again. But was it a change? No, because ain't nobody really, I don't work this area. But the first step really, it was a good step because he came. Second step, he got a uniform patrol, we got a supervisor here. It's on the agenda to get people to come inside of these businesses. Everybody ain't count. Everybody ain't count with you. And what I'm saying is this, let's take these steps and let's make the steps better. I can't talk about the past of these traffic stops now. I'm not trying to talk about that. I'm talking about the future. I'm talking about the part about driving off this lot. We're talking about folks in these driving fans cars. We're talking about guns, ignorance in these laws. We're talking about a lot of stuff in the future. But I can't talk about the traffic stops back there. But that's what we're talking about. And we're taking up so much time talking about that part. And half of you still here. But we're talking about, let's go further. Let's try to spread the word about, man, slow down. Let's talk about, man, you see somebody do something. We talk about the guns. Let's get the process started. I can't go back to the traffic stop. I can't go back to Bill Street. I can't go back to a lot of this stuff. I'm trying to start somewhere, and I think this is the good ground to start on because it's a positive place.
You can't start in the past. We're talking
So cute. When you wake up in the morning, do you look yourself in the mirror and say, what can I do to make this community better?
No, I do that every second of the day.
So listen.
I do that every second of the day.
He said Memphis is what? 70% African American, right? How many African Americans you think went and voted in the local elections? But you won't change, right?
Before I say
you won't change because we can only do so much.
You can't use it because that in itself is just broken. You can't use it.
Why is broken?
Because people don't have. So you said people don't have. Hold on. You saying people don't have a legitimate reason to not trust their system. That's what you're saying. Now we're looking right now at the news. We're looking right now at the
local election. You don't have an electoral college.
No, right.
Hold on,
That's not the same.
Let's do this.
Because you got laws that are restricting voters right now. So if people seeing this distrust didn't come this year. With this vaccine, that distrust didn't come this year. I was in the 4th grade when they taught me about the Tuskegee experiment. That came from the public school system. That didn't come from no friend of mine. I was in a book looking at that. That was black men, right? So that y'all gotta stop acting like there isn't a reason already in place. If you go to the East Precinct right now, you can't hoop.
So what are you gonna do to change it?
I do what I do.
In your power, what are you doing to change?
Look.
In your profession,
just like a preacher do what he do in the pulpit. I'm a barber. I do what I do with every person I come in contact with.
And this is what I'm gonna tell you. Keep doing it. Right. Because when I turn on the news, whether it's a murder not in my community, in my neighborhood, it could be in Whitehaven. I don't stay that close to Whitehaven, right? But when I turn on the news and see it's a child or somebody dead, it affects me, right? Right. It drives me, right, to keep doing what I'm doing. Keep doing what you doing. Eventually somebody gonna listen.
No, everybody in here can do more.
Well, keep doing what you doing, and then everybody else do what they doing.
I'm here. I have to be here.
Here we go, guys. Last subject.
Guess what?
And we're gonna need Luke. All right, Luke. We're gonna need you on this one. 901 rap.
You tell us what it is, what's going on with it, and how it's going to affect the community.
All right, so 901 rap basically is something that probably you only hear about on the federal level. They call it witness protection program. Our AG's office want to stay away from the word protection, and it's what we call it witness relocation and assistance program. What we have to do is we have to put ourselves in a position where we can protect or give some sort of assurance, I should say, to those individuals who are helping us solid ground so we can help make this community a lot safer. If that means relocating them from Whitehaven to Cordova or Cordova to Mills, what have you. And if there's other assistance. What some people probably don't realize is that you have very few states who have witness relocation assistance. We finally getting one here in Tennessee. Should have been done about 30, 40 years ago, to be honest with you. Now, to the credit of the AG's office, they have, to some services, they have like limited resources in order to get that accomplished. So, to a certain extent, they've been doing it all along. But what we're trying to do is do it on a grand scale, so that we can ensure that people in this particular community are protected whenever they go to court and raise their right hand and say, I swear in the firm that so and so did so and so and so. Because at the end of the day, we're not going. It's our duty, it's our responsibility to afford that particular service.
I got a question. If I'm Mr. Johnson, and you catch some conversation. I've been staying here while I live here. I've been living 30 years. Yeah, I seen Mr. Watkins shoot Mr. whatever, and y'all put me up under this program. But I've been living here, and this is a question that I'm getting from the citizens. If I live here, been living here 30 years, they're going to upbring me and take me out of my community I've been living in that long.
First and foremost, if you want the service, it's there for you.
Okay, yeah, it's a want.
It's not a mandate. If you don't want it, right, then you stay right there now. Okay? Now, I would press on you to do the right thing, and that's get on down. Because this, you know, look, we can't deal with cartoons, raps. It's reality. I worked 3 years in homicide, 16 years undercover, ATF task force, DEA task force. I've done it all, seen it all. Started out in North Memphis, Frazier. Me and him really got to talking on 2 different murders. Okay? I've seen it all. We stood on a house that I can't really talk much about for quite some time. You ain't telling me nothing that I already know. My heart is in this. I've been fighting for this thing for 3 years. It is taking a lot of money. Right about now, I'm in the process of trying to raise. I know what they want to raise. I want to raise about $500,000. And I'm going to get it. Because ain't nobody going to stop me. I think you know me long enough. If I tell you I'm going to do something, it's done. It's better for you to get the hell out of my way or get on board. Because it's going to get done. I promise you.
So what was previously done? So this program just now started?
Right. So here's the thing. The AG's office, to their credit, have afforded, but they still have limited resources for a limited time frame. What I want to do is extend it. It's not going to ever be to the extent of the federal system. The federal system, they got a saying. It's called from the cradle to the grave. That's how it is. Which includes your identity being changed and stuff like that. Eventually, if it warrants that, I want to be able to do the same. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to always strive for more than just mediocrity. All right? And whatever we do.
So now we currently have that in place in the city.
It will work well. We did a press conference about a month ago. Okay? So it's not up and running yet, because what we're not trying to do is raise the funding in order to make sure that we can provide those particular services. It is actually a common. Let me say it one more time for the Holy Ghost. It's actually a common, because not only do you get relocated, because sometimes your finance and your credit ain't all that. But with this, because this is that's your father's concern. However, there are other things that's going to be offered with the assistance package. That's going to be great. Some of those things that I shared with you privately regarding my nonprofit that I started, that you can't separate the police from me being the police from the community on my own, on the same level that we're doing here. It started out with conversation. Once we had the conversation, I made a plan. I wrote it down as I was sharing with my friend. When I did the plan, I don't just take this stuff and let it on die. I wrote it out. I came up with a nonprofit called Perfect Harmony. So we help people get their driver's license reinstated, records expunged, help them find a new job, help them out with child support. These are real issues that keep us in a revolving door of 201 pocket. I don't care what you said. I did the numbers. I helped the people out. I don't ask for a whole lot of nothing. My joy comes in seeing people in a better situation. The rap, 901 rap, will put this thing on steroids. And every time we put somebody behind bars, it will make our cities and our community that much more safe. But I'm hoping, my prayer is that when it becomes widespread, people will know that we're going to take care of our own. And it could be a proactive measure, and people be like, you may want to think before I pull this trigger. See what I'm saying?
Well, you know, one thing I'll say out loud about this situation is, you know, back in the day, the conversation was, you know, you didn't talk a lot to the police. I'm 47 years old, so I'm 90s, growing up as a man. So I'm here to say that we handle things a whole lot different. I ain't afraid because we on camera, we real talk. Right. We used to handle things different. You went down to Mr. Jones' house and you broke in Mr. Jones' house. Mr. Jones is a regular GDI, man. You don't even, like, why you going to get something out of Mr. Jones' house? Hey, man, take that on down there. We used to have them kind of conversation. And guess what? Police officers didn't have no problem with us having a conversation with our own. Right. Well, what happened the split has happened because some of the new school that came in as police officers, they lazy as hell. So they almost sometimes used to, and they no indictment on you young fella, but some of them come in and just be like, and they'll handle their business. Well, guess what, y'all? They ain't handling it no more. Ain't no OGs no more. The OG's 17 years old, 18 years old, and he's just as ignorant as a 12-year-old. So he's sending them out. So it used to be a point in time where you knew the business. Hey, third, I'm gonna holler at them first, third. And I'm gonna see what the business is. If I can't get no understanding with them, it's on you. Well, I can't have that conversation with y'all no more because y'all don't even want to come down there and get the action, fair or unfair, because of the fear of what's going on for your life. Well, now you put me between the rock and the hard place because if I'm the biggest goblin, because I'm supposed to be tougher than the goon. Mm-hmm. If I'm the biggest goblin, then I ain't doing no good because if I go down there and they mad at me, when I'm supposed to be having a conversation with you. So it all circles right back around. When you come to spots like this, it's supposed to be a conversation. Hey, Q, did you have a conversation with the young dude? Yeah, man, I talked with him, I talked to him. Hold on, give me one more time to talk to him. Good, let me holler at him, let me see what the business is. You tell the young fella, hey man, them folks coming. And you ain't got nothing to outdo, nothing they doing. But I need you to take care of that business. Then y'all come in from there and do what you do. Right. I ain't scared. I'm not trying to run nowhere. I ain't snitching. You gonna tell on yourself, young fella. Right. But at the end of the day, we need police presence to come in and be able to come in and say, hey man, who the granddad of the neighborhood, the big papa of the neighborhood. Right. Let me holler at him, let me have a conversation with him. But you get that coming in spots like this. But this, what we used to do, they ain't working no more. I need y'all to step y'all game on me. You just one of a few. I know these 3 guys, these 4 guys here, I know they're going to get in the trench and do what they do. I done seen them work. But they know how I roll too. That's how I'm allowed to see her. But at the end of the day, man, I need a whole lot of y'all, a whole lot of police officers to get some of this and do the July 31st. July 31st. Guess what? I need, hold on, I'm give you this one. I need July 31st. I need August 7th. I need August the 14th. I need August the 21st. I need August the 28th. And I'm putting it live so y'all get this, because I'm normally, I like putting it on the table. Man, set it up in different parts of the city, because this is a South Memphis dude. I'm a South Memphis guy. So I understand what he's talking about. Now, you doing out here in Park Village, it might not be real convenient for me to get out here, but I'll come out here because it's your event. But I'm also going to ask you to sit at the table and say, hey man, I'm doing this here, let's do this somewhere else because that's what we need
I mean,
in order to straighten that business out.
But the way that spreads out, and like we said earlier, it's gotta be more than just us in here. It's gotta be everybody in the community. It's gotta be, and not just that, it's gotta be business owners. It's gotta be people. It's gotta be people reaching out to these kids that's good at something.
If we going spot to spot, we going spot to spot.
Yeah, that's what I said.
All going spot to spot now.
Because let's say outside of being the police, he a cop. Let's say he a good businessman. Well, you grab some kids and you teach them what you learn to make you be successful. You grab some, you teach them what you learn to make you be successful. Share whatever gift you had that made you be successful with some kids, and guess what? That'll give them something to do, and that's how it spreads out. And it don't just have to be kids. There's some grown men out here walking around that need some guidance. It's grown men out here that didn't have it when they was younger that need some guidance. When they come in the barber shop, hey man, you want to learn how to cut hair? I know you out here struggling. I can teach you how to cut hair. You can get you a trade. You can make some money. Now you can help some other folks. It gotta spread like that. Massey does that. You know, Eric Massey came back to the school that we went to. Started teaching cutting hair at the school. Then opened up another little school. Because he bringing kids in and teaching them his gift. The same thing I do with football. I know football. I teach these kids football. If me teaching you football gets you to college, gets you a chance to get a free education, guess what? I done my part. If everybody takes whatever they good at, that's legal. Put it out there. Just because you're good at something don't mean it's legal. If you take everything that you're good at that's legal and teach it to somebody else and stop being scared that if I teach somebody something, they're going to take my job or take my money. If you teach them what you know to be successful legally, guess what? It's going to help not only them, but it's going to help you because now you ain't got to worry about this same person trying to take from you what you gonna work hard at.
But I want to throw this out here in the whole conversation. Y'all laughed at me when I gave you every weekend, but I gave you every weekend back to back, right? What is that? Consistency.
Yes, Lord.
Consistency. You know, I heard Q, he said this probably our third one. Man, I'm glad for it. Probably some ones before this, probably our fifth or sixth one before the COVID came. So as a whole, this is our fifth or sixth one. It was just a couple of us, then it broke out big, then it got kind of quiet. This is probably the largest group that we done had, so I'm thankful for that, Q, because like I said, remember, it was just a few of us that was on the line. But it's consistency. Once a month, you gonna get up. I just want you guys to be consistent. That's my only fuck, consistency. That's why you can change that. 30 years of doing something, 20 years of doing something, 32 years of doing something, you will consistent. That's why you good or you're great and you move up in what you're doing because it's consistent. We are so torn in communities because we had one or two good events or one or two good months and then it drop off. No, man, I want you to do like we said the preacher do. He's supposed to preach if it's 5 in there or it's 5,000 in there. The same message got to go across. And that's the only thing we need, the same kind of message like that. Yes, sir.
I appreciate what you're saying that, but let's be pragmatic.
Yes, sir.
All of us are doctors in here.
Yes, sir.
Let's say we're all doctors.
Yes, sir.
We're dealing with cancer.
Yes, sir.
Has cancer ever been cured?
No, sir.
No. We can diagnose it. We can try to give it a little radiation.
Yes,
or
sir.
we do what? We cut it out.
Yes, sir.
But the point is, we got to start somewhere.
Yes, sir.
So what I said was a start.
Yes, sir.
What he said earlier was a start. What he talked about was a start. We're all starting somewhere to try to rid the cancer.
Yes, sir.
And it takes time.
Go ahead.
You just said, but we're all doctors. But all doctors don't practice cancer in one hospital. There's people suffering from
I threw
cancer
that as an analogy.
in every community.
As an analogy.
I'm supporting your analogy.
Right, yeah. right.
I'm supporting your analogy based on his analogy.
Right.
That we all doctors.
Right.
But we all under the same hospital because somebody in the hospital across the street, across the town, needs service. So his point being, because I grew up in Chicago.
I was born in Chicago.
And I knew the local police officers in my community. So I wasn't afraid of them. They came to our schools, they were in our neighborhoods. So it's kind of like the black-white thing. You know how you hear people say, if you have a one black friend, if you're white, you might be able to think when somebody puts on the table and say, oh, all black people. If you have a black friend, you might say, no, that's not true. But if you don't have a police officer, I have a 33-year-old black son. My son, he needs to know that police officers are people. But if he has one in his community, in his church, or goes and says, oh, police officers are good, he might recall and remember this one. Now, granted, this one, but he remembers this is a good guy. So this could very well be a good guy. But the only time I ever see a police officer, he's a bad guy. Or he only shows up and when it's a bad event, then that's how you see it. I'm offended by the comment that you made when you said, or he said, it took a lot for him to come here. It wouldn't have took a lot for him to come here if there was a murder. It wouldn't have took a lot of here if there was a crime. So it shouldn't take a lot out of your time to talk to us while we're standing up and we're talking. Because if we were shooting, y'all would have a problem coming from wherever you were. So you have to give us value at this level. Don't give us value when we're in crime. We have to. We need help. I grew up with the big mamas. I grew up, the neighborhood watch in our neighborhood was Miss Annie on the corner, Miss Linda on the corner. When she saw it coming through the hood, she made the comment, who are you and why are you here? So when the police officer came, she was able to say, the little boy over there with the green shirt, because we watched and cared about each other. I don't know what happened with police officers leaving, but I've had run-in with police officers, and I'm scared to death when they pull up behind me. I'm a 53-year-old black woman, scared to death. I shouldn't be scared to death. If I need you, I shouldn't be afraid of the person that I need to save me. It's like being with my husband. I'm afraid of him, but there's no trust. But you all have to be in our communities more than on the 31st of July. That's all I'm saying.
So I'm gonna pose a rhetorical question to you, and everybody in this room. As I stated earlier, one thing I've learned in my 37 years is generational mistrust. It's like racism. Let's keep the ballistics. It's a learned behavior. So at this point, how do we get rid of the generational mistrust? I told you last show, not the boy, if you bad, we're gonna call the police on you. And I told you 7 of us on this job today. We joined the business because we found something different. We learned something different as we became older. But again, how do we get rid of the generational mistrust?
So this generational mistrust is not something that is our responsibility. It is a true reality that we live and that I experience. So that fear that I have is that, not in this very moment, but at time when you pull me over, or the fear when the officer would not let me exit Bill Street when the exit is right here, was as he justly should have, because if it was a danger for me to be on the bike with the street, why would you make me go back down the street with the dangerous bike? But anyway, the fear is that if you basically, if you increase, I think what I'm hearing, if you increase the interaction beyond when there's an incident and be proactive in that way, then that will create a different experience that I have. So when I said it earlier, and I said I have between 18 to 35, what I was trying to explain, which I don't think everyone heard clearly, was from 18 to 35, my experiences were one-sided. It was negative. So if you want to change the narrative so that we can change that generational mistrust, which does exist, it doesn't rest, just like it doesn't rest on black people to fix racism.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't. So it's going to have to come from, yes, we do. I will say we do have to. I do have to bear an open mind, and that you have my best intentions. That I think we have to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. That's the best I can give. But at the same time, it is you, the police officers, that are going to have to use better discretion, better choices, better de-escalation, and more interaction with the community.
Well, here's the thing, as we get ready to close, here's one thing that we can take with us. And this is something that former police director Robert always said. Join NPD.com. You can be the change that you want to see on this department. Jimmy's from the community. Campbell's from the community. You from the community. You from the community. I am too. Warrior 6 East Georgia. Cross the street from BTW. Born and raised. Join the department. If you don't want to join the department, you got cousins, kinfolks, church members. Hey, there's an opportunity to have a job. The PhD program, as they graduate high school, they can come onto the job making good money, starting off their career at 18 years old. They can be the change in the community that you want to see.
Don't want to join, but I do want to support that 901 rap and try to find some funding for that, because I do love that idea.
Give them some money.
That excited me when I heard that.
Give them some money.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
I got one question, and it's for you and her.
We got about 2-3 minutes.
It's just one question. All right, I'm just coming on this for you. And I'm brand spanking new. You said from 18 to 35, you had negative encounters. You said anytime a police officer get behind you, you're scared. Can I ask you this? Why are your past experience judging me prior to me even coming up to your vehicle?
Then you ask yourself that same question. Ask yourself, hold that same question as a police officer.
Right.
When you, okay, because you also have a history of, and so do we.
Right.
So both people are walking up here with the feet. So you have more power than I do. That you don't know how much power I have. But relatively, you come in with the most power because you have the power of the badge and the weapon. Okay. So I feel, based on what he said, if you approach my car and you can put me in the most relaxed position,
right,
then it may change. Because everybody that you stop is not bad. They might be doing something bad. They might. My situation was he couldn't see my license plate. I almost had a heart attack. He said, "Ma'am, I can't see your license plate. That's something wrong." I could not agree with him. Because I was so afraid. I asked him, "Can I see what happened?" So my point is, why not? Excuse me, ma'am. I just want to let you know. Help my calm. Bring my calm. Help me calm. I'm not saying that you can do that and that's across the board, but there's more people that you're stopping that are just having an infraction than they are committing a major crime. And when you got people afraid, they are nervous. They do seem like they're hiding. I'm nervous. I shouldn't be nervous. I've got everything right. So that's what that comes from.
We're going to close with Campbell on the last note.
Okay. Like I said, we'll get back in just a second. But I understand what everybody's saying. When they got this uniform on, and the lights come on, and it's a sense of fear. Like you said, on both sides. But the part about it was, again, we was always taught we control this scene. We don't do nothing else. We're gonna control this scene. But understand, it's a real thin line between, that going into a crisis. Because see, some people go into a crisis, and then all of a sudden, whether they got a gun, they got a car, start with a machete, and start running at you, it flips into a crisis, a trigger that goes off. They didn't watch a lot of internet. They got to watch a lot of different things. And they go into a crisis. I really want to say George Floyd went into it. Might have been drug induced, but he went into a crisis. Nobody chose a moment to talk him down. We do have 603s. I think the new chief of police might be required everybody to be CIT. Excuse me. I'm sorry. But that's the person that goes into a crisis. That has a past mental history. It's CRT. That's a crisis intervention team member. We would notice those things when we see those triggers that click off. And they go into a panic, they might cry, they might freeze up, they might do something. But we know that in CIT, but this might be a new where they might promote this thing that to identify those things on these traffic stops. To understand that she's going into a crisis. How the lights came on, she pulled over and she froze. Whether it's a tag or a ticket, this all is going to just talk about it or give it a ticket. It's over with. But the part of that is we as police officers really got to walk in these situations. We got to identify those crises and know and see it to talk it down. Because after that, really that crisis, and once we talk it down, relationships start. Because see, everybody does not know. Everybody does not know a bad officer.
Right.
But you do know a good one. Because you know about that. You ain't call him by his name. You really don't. Chris called me and said, "Hey, Cam, what's up?"
Right.
I don't really want Chris to be calling me about nobody that's been, he got a warning and all this other stuff trying it out. Chris, you got a problem up there? It's a situation I can at least calm him down because he's like, I can't understand it. Because we talk about people with these guns. Walking in, he got one and he don't supposed to, and this and he in the seats. We got to talk about this because there's a lot of people in the business.
And on that note, guys, please understand, those who need to leave right now are not leaving because they don't care. There are other things that they have to go tend to.
Yes, this was a 2-hour
segment. Other things that have to go
around
tend to.
for a few more.
But
we got food back here.
Eating food is been paid for. So we appreciate everybody coming out. There will be another session next month.
Every third Tuesday.
Third Tuesday.
We're post a location.
Okay. Listen, I would like to say this too. As the owner of Everything Casual on our behalf, we appreciate everybody. I do know it took a lot out of everybody to come here, but it's important. You know what I'm saying? And I think the bottom line, one thing I would like to say in closure is like, I think sometimes in frustration, we bark at the people that's here because we mad at the people that's not.
It's not right.
I think everybody that's here carry enough to want to fix the problem. So as we all leave here and go back to our separate posts, we all need to be a light in that dark place. Where you go, you be a light. Where you go, you be a light. You be a light. You be a light. I'll be a light. You be a light. You know what I'm saying? Because, like they said, it's really about starting now, moving forward. So after this departure, everybody go shine where they should be. You know what I'm saying? So that's my spiel. But man, I have a call for everybody. Thank everybody. Appreciate our Campbell. Appreciate you guys. Thank you, Colonel. Everybody.
Thank you, Chris.
Y'all closing.
Thank you for hosting this. Everybody want my number to call? That man ain't lonely. He wants to not talk. Say it one more time. That's my number. Somebody talk. He gonna be